Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are on page 69 of your student journal, and our objective for the day is, today I will identify prime and composite numbers. Okay, so we have two really big important new words today, prime and composite. And we're going to look at our vocab to see what those two words mean. So our first word is factors, and it says numbers that are multiplied to create a product. So 4 and 6 are multiplied together. Those make them factors, and the product, remember, of a multiplication problem is in the answer. Okay, here's our key words. Prime numbers and composite numbers. So prime numbers are numbers that have only two factors, one and itself. And they give us a whole bunch of examples all the way to 67. So we're just going to look at a few of them. So 2, the only way that I can get 2 is I can say 1 times 2. I can't get to 2 any other way. 3, 1 times 3. 5, 1 times 5. Let's skip to 13. Only 1 times 13. So a prime factor has not only two factors, we could even say exactly two factors. It's always going to be 1 and then that same number. Okay, a composite numbers that have more than two factors. So it has to have more than two factors. So they give us all these examples to 30. So let's just look at 4. How can I get to 4 using multiplication? I could say 1 times 4, which would be 2 factors, but I also could say 2 times 2. So there's more than just using 1 in itself. What about 6? I could say 1 times 6, but I also could get to 6 by saying 2 times 3. So that is what we call a composite number when there's another set of factors that you can use. Okay, here's a key thing. Note that 0 and 1 are neither prime nor composite. So those 0 and 1, if you notice, aren't in either list, and that's on purpose. Okay, so let's look at our steps. Step 1 says list all possible factors. Okay, so for 5, they wrote 1 times 5, and then it didn't work. For 9, they did 1 times 9 and 3 times 3. Okay, they don't give a lot of rules here. I'm going to add some rules, and there's not a lot of space, but I'm going to put some little like hints here. Okay, I'm going to say don't skip any numbers. And when you see mine, I will explain what that means. The reason I say don't skip any numbers is sometimes if you don't list them and you just do them in your head, you'll forget some. So I don't skip any numbers. Okay, and then my next rule about step 1 is stop when you have a repeat. That's going to be my rule. Stop when you have a repeat. So stop when you have a repeat and don't skip any numbers. When you're doing what we call sometimes we call these our factor tables. If you don't follow these two hints, you sometimes skip some by accident. So these two hints of don't skip any numbers and stop when you have a repeat will keep you from making any silly mistakes, okay? Right, number 2 says if the number given has factors of only 1 in itself, then it's prime. If the number given has more than 2 factors, then it's composite. Okay, so I'm going to get started and show you, and I'm going to specifically show you the two rules that I added. Okay, ready? So here is my first problem, and it says list all the possible factors and identify if each number as prime or composite. So my first number is 2, and I always like to rewrite mine. Okay, so I'm always going to start with 1. And I get 1 times 2 gets me 2. Then I go 2 times, oh, there's a repeat. Here's a 2 and here's a 2, so I can stop and I'm done. That's what I mean when there's a repeat, you stop. So if you notice, my only factors are 1 and 2, which makes this a prime number? Okay, let's look at another one that might not go so fast. Here's my next one, and my number is 12 this time. Okay, so same idea. I'm going to start with 1 and say 1 times 12. After 1, I'm going to try 2. 2 times what gives me 12? 6. Then I'm going to try the next number in order. So 1, 2, 3. 3 times what gives me 12? 3 times 4 gives me 12. Then I'm going to try 4. Oh, I notice there's a repeat, so I stop. Once I notice there's a repeat, I stop my table. Okay, so notice how many factors do I have for 12? I have more than 1 in itself. I also have 2, 6, and 3, and 4. So this number is what we would call composite. It's composite because it has more than 2 factors. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's try some together. We are on page 70. If you can turn to 70 with me. Okay, now this one, I might break the rules for a bit and you're gonna see why. Otherwise, we might be here for a long time. Okay, so ours is 31. So, ready? We always start with 1. 1 times 31. 2 times what? I know 2 doesn't work because this is an odd number, so 2 won't work. 3 times what? Well, 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 11 is 33, so 3 doesn't work. What about 4? Let's see, 4 times 7 is 28, and 4 times 8 is 32, so 4 doesn't work. What about 5? 5 doesn't work because in the ones place, I would have to have a 5 or a 0. What about 6? Well, 6 times 5 is 30, and 6 times 6 is 36, so 6 won't work. Oh, we're gonna run out of space, so let's come up here. What about 7? Will 7 work? 7 times 4 is 28, and 7 times 5 is 35. What about 8? 8 times 3 is 24, but 8 times 4 is 32. What about 9? 9 times 3 is 27, and 9 times 4 is 36. What about 10? Oh, no, because there I'd have to have a 1 in the ones place. What about 11? Nope, because 11 times 2 is 22, and 11 times 3 is 33. What about 12? Nope, 12 times 2 is 24, and 12 times 36. This could go on, friends, which is why I said I might cheat for this one. 31 is a prime number. Sometimes it's nice to learn the prime numbers so when you get to a really big one like this, you don't have to go on. So I'm giving you permission on this one to stop. The nice thing is in our book, they listed the prime numbers up to 67. So I see that 31 was prime. So I could use that to help me on that one too. But if you're noticing, I'm not coming up with any other factors, and it's because it's prime. Only 1 and 31 worked. Okay, let's look at 15. This one's gonna go a lot faster. So we have for 15, we always start with 1. 1 times 15. 2 times what? 2 doesn't work because this is an odd number. So let's cross that off. 3 times what? 3 times 5. Okay, 4 times what? 4 doesn't work either because 4 times 3 is 12, but 4 times 4 is 16. What about 5? Oh, there's a repeat. So once I see that repeat, I can stop. So I have 4 factors, which means that this is composite. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you get to one like this, you don't need to keep going, but I do want you to try and follow where we try every number, we write it down, so we're not doing it in our head, and then we stop when we have these repeats right here. Okay, you have a couple pages to try on your own, and have a great day.